Accion Lab Innovation Summit 2019.
Let me give you a quick background about me. I'm bachelor's in mathematics, master's in computer science, did an MBA, did a lot of statistics in my academics, okay? And became an architect and became a manager, became a CEO, became a managing director. How many of you have learned statistics in life, in college schools, okay? How many of you just slipped out? I've done that many times. It's pretty abstract and a lot of things to learn, and it's not the most exciting of the subjects that I've learned for sure. So anytime that someone talks about AI ML, a couple of years back when AI ML was just catching up, I tried to go through a couple of presentations, and all that it spoke about was linear regressions and all the complex things. Either you studied or skipped in statistics, or you studied or skipped in compiler design. Or image processing and pattern recognition. Okay, these are the dry subjects that they put it together. So I thought we'll do a deep dive in AML. So this is like the perfect timing to get this. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning, all right? That's the most important thing. And then we look at supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforced learning. Get into really serious stuff, regression, classification, prediction, and recommendation. And then look at serious algorithms on NLP, computer vision, linear regression, logistic regression. I hope you guys know the difference. And then we look at some simple stuff like k-means, decision tree, random forest, neural networks. Finally, we end it with PCA, support vector, and naive Bayes. This is not what we're going to do. We're going to keep it really light, keep it high level. As executives, as business owners, how can we apply AI and ML? So AI ML is something that we always think it's good, it's cool, but we are not ready there yet. It's great, but we'll plan for it later. But we fail to realize that AI ML is something that we do every day. There's not a single thing that we do without an AI ML. So let's quickly look at it. When you get up, I wake up with my phone on, right? You do a fingerprint scan or a facial recognition to open it. Pretty trivial, everybody knows this. But the interesting thing there is we always talk about creating models, GPUs, servers, cost expensive and things like that. But the whole stuff happens from your phone. So you really don't need expensive servers to get an AI ML work, create the model, do a pattern recognition, facial recognition, and stuff like that. So that's a myth number one. Facebook. So we have this interesting thing about recognizing faces here and puts boxes in identifying the faces. And the interesting thing that happens here is, I don't know how many of you know, the friend recommendation that you get, right? So I meet some people here, and tomorrow I get a recommendation that, hey, Janet is your friend. Like, how did you even know that, right? It's probably because I pushed a photo of mine in this group into Facebook, and it recognizes the face, and it says that, oh, you were with her, so probably you must be knowing her. So a lot of stuff that's going on behind the scene. The recommendation system of Netflix. We all use Netflix, right? 85% of the movies we watch are recommended. We don't search for them. And many more. Uber, nearest car, the time taken for the car to arrive, they're all ML libraries that come there. I don't know how many of you know, 2 weeks back, they've open sourced Ludwig, an ML platform from Uber. Okay, and of course, nothing is complete without Google. Google does ML everywhere. YouTube recommendation. The interesting thing is the translation. I've used translations quite a bit, and it works beautifully. So now that we've spoken about some of the common use cases, the one thing that is cliched about ML and AI is you talk about machine learning, you talk about flying cars, driverless cars, quantum computing, and things like that. We feel, oh, it's not for me, okay, I do payroll processing, I do healthcare management, it's probably not for me, right? We're not there yet, right? So that's not the area that I want to talk about. And all the examples that we saw are nothing nano-quantum about it. They're all applications that we can use in our business applications, right? How ready is your organization in ML? And if you see there are just 4%, it's being used broadly, and it's improving the outcome, right? But all the others, the 96 are just, oh, it's been spoken in pockets, Ash knows it, but nobody else knows it, right? Oh, so there's a AIC-like team that knows it, but I don't know, I'm not a statistics student like me. Many of us say, I'm not sure about what it is, right? So again, I want to quickly flash back and say that it's not that we don't know, it's not that we don't care. We are using it every day. Carrie is not here, so she had this nice graph where human learning is this, and the technology is this, and there's a small segue that you need to go to reach there. And it's many times a mind block to say that, oh, this is not for me, this is too difficult, my business doesn't support this, and stuff like that. Okay. That's all said and done. Now, okay, fine, there is ML, we all know that, there is all these Facebook and the great things. How can I apply machine learning and AI into my business, right? What are those low-hanging fruits, or how do I think about AI ML, right? So I will steal the Accion levers. What are the ML levers, right? So we've got 6 levers, right? So we don't need to think about quantum computing, flying car, driverless cars, and things like that. These are all things that solve business problems. And these are all patterns that are well-known, established, and a lot of tools and techniques available which can get you started right away. The classification or scoring, like, which customer will not pay my bills? Which customer doesn't have the money? And then how many products will my customer buy next month? It's more like predicting what will be my revenue, what will be my sales, stuff like that. Segmentation is, I have all the customers, I don't know how to group them. You've got, 1,000 customers. So how do I segment them in a way that makes sense, and I can do targeted campaigns or reach out in a specific way? Is it just the top line? For us, for example, there's the size of the customer, the size of the deal or the size of the engagement that we have, the potential growth that the company could have, the technologies, emerging tech adoption, that could be a reason, the competitors or the incumbents. So there are multiple factors. If you line up all the factors, you may have about, 50 to 100 variables or features that would come by. So how do you classify in a way that makes sense for us? Forecasting, of course, what's going to be my next quarter, what's going to sales and revenue and things like that. Recommendations, we spoke about Netflix, I'll talk about it a bit more. Which product to offer to which customer, what kind of services, should I do a price discounting, should I upsell, is there a recommendation of sorts, what is there, that's all there. And of course the last two, NLP, we saw so many of NLP applications in chatbot, and yesterday, same time, all of us, including me, we woke up seeing the speech demo. And of course the last is the computer vision, audio, video analysis. We saw the Facebook example where we saw the face get recognized and how they leverage in their business. So let me give you some use cases of applications that we've discussed with the customers, built products around these, or consulted on an AI ML application. Digital consultation. There's a customer called InforMe, and what they did was you take a video of your pet. In case the pet is sick, it's always sleeping, it's got rashes, whatever. You take a picture or a video of the pet and send it to the doctor, right? And the doctor will see the video and try to fix up an appointment or suggest. That's phase 1. Phase 2 is there could be something critical, serious. You take a video, upload it, immediately tells you, oh, this could be a condition of this, it could be something else. It gets you a real-time assessment how serious the ailment is. So this is a project that we've done last year in terms of all computer vision, video assessing videos and things like that. So that's a project that we've done, very, very useful. I think it can be useful for HSVS as well, in my opinion, and some of the other panels that we could talk about. Medication management with Platinum Living. Platinum Living is a customer that tries to be the aid for elders, right, and who could not read too much, who cannot listen too much. So it's kind of guiding you. You can tell, oh, I have a headache today, and I have the same headache yesterday at about 10:30 p.m. What do I do? Things like that. And it tries to compute, manage, and say what can be the next course of action. And of course, there is just not healthcare. It segues into multiple other areas as well. It could be buying my grocery, to going for a walk, and things like that. So it's completely AI-centric application that we're building for this customer of ours. Health monitoring. So we worked on a small POC with GE, General Electric healthcare division. So what they were talking about was you have the patients in the ICU admitted, and you have the monitors continuously checking the BP, pulse, oxygen saturation, and things like that. And the way that works now is there is a beep that comes. If the nurse or somebody is sleeping, you have to wait, right? So what is this system that we've proposed was an automatic and a real-time decision-making to say that something is going wrong, right? Or probably you just got, there's a different scenario, right? You just got operated today. Your pulse and BP and things like that could vary a bit more than if you had got operated like 3-4 days earlier. So there's a lot of intelligence that gets in to assess what happens. And you kind of take an immediate call, either a doctor, specialist, physician, whatever that is. It's continuous real-time monitoring on all your critical monitoring devices. Entertainment. Sampling of audio video. Okay, I want to talk about this. This is a new project that we're doing with a customer called FanView. This is a social videography, right? This is my college sports event that happens, right? And I could come and say, hey, I volunteer to cover this on my mobile phone. And I do that, and you take hours and hours and hours of video, right? And then what we do is we try to get highlights of it, just cut off critical sections of the event, and then make it and compile it. Right, so we're working with a startup in that space. Objects and scene recognition in videos. So this is a slightly sensitive story. So we're doing a POC. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get the video feed from CCTV and trying to see how many hours an employee, doctor, whoever that is, sits on a seat. Sorry, it's technology. Not micromanaging. So that's just the first level. I mean, the first level is trying to identify if someone is sitting there or no, right? And then, depending on the quality of the video that comes in, you then decide, can I see it's Ramesh or Suresh that is sitting, right? That's next level. For me, right now, I want to see what is my occupancy and how much is my office filled, and what is the max usage and mean usage. Again, the morning session of operational innovation. So that's something that I'm doing with a bunch of people here. Content search, like a Shazam, like an app. You know, you just belittle Shazam, but I live and breathe Shazam. Shazam finds out which song is playing. You know, every time you listen to a song, I say, hey, what song is that? You know, and me and Abhi, whoever it is, we both listen to a lot of songs. So we find out, oh, this song, right, and go for it. So that's on the content search. Appointment scheduling. By the way, please, I'm not trying to run through my case studies, right? I'm trying to find relevance of how you can think of AI ML in everyday business. So we're working with a company called Great Clips. And Great Clips, what happens is, so it's a very, very simple use case. It's like going to the barber shop and waiting there for hours to get your haircut, right? So the problem that they try to solve is, you're driving in your car, I want to get a haircut. It tells you, hey, in the speed that you're going and the place where it is, you'll take about 10 minutes. If you reach in 10 minutes, you'll have to wait for 3 minutes for your haircut, right? Oh, okay, I can't wait for 3 minutes. Oh, by the way, if you drive for 5 minutes this side, you'll find a barber shop where you should just wait for 1 minute, right? So this is an interesting use case, but if you could just think about it on appointment managing across various industries, right? So everywhere you got people waiting. It could be at the hospital, it could be in my gym, in my tennis court, right? So that's an interesting way to think on how to handle or solve an appointment management problem. Customer satisfaction. Okay, two things about this. Let me talk about two things. One is looking into your, for us, the most important thing is Glassdoor. For others, it could be various social networking sites where your product or your company is being reviewed and given comments, right? And it could be positive, it could be negative. And it's important that you kind of understand that and understand the sentiment to either solve the problem for the customer, one. Second is, where we've used a bit is in LinkedIn, Instagram, and places like that. We have a lot of tools to go and see through what's happening. And we kind of go and figure out who's looking for a blockchain project. Who's looking to implement an AI ML, right? If someone is actively talking about it in multiple forums, we think he's a potential customer, right? And we try to say, hey, how are you? Try to start a conversation on that. So that's the customer satisfaction one way, which is your text-based NLP. The second thing, what Kinesh always talks about is you get a customer service call into your IVR, into your call center, and he says, hey, your product sucks, it's not good, I want to replace it, I came out with this problem last week, you guys didn't do anything, right? And what happens is your call may be recorded for quality purposes. The quality happens 40 days hence. And by that time, your customers move to another product, right? So imagine a time when this guy talks and immediately the system understands, oh, okay, the tone, Asim, wherever he is, okay, go, right? It's okay, go or okay, go, right? So where you understand the sentiment, all right, this customer is kind of pissed off. Let's get to the next level. Oh, probably you're talking to a rookie there, right? If it can upgrade your call to the next exec, right? Imagine what you can do with customer satisfaction. Content validation. There are many times, especially in Indian form filling, where we need to upload our passport copy. And you upload a file, and what the file checks is it a JPEG file or a GIF file or something? And you're done. That's the validation. And you come back after 2 days and say, hey, by the way, you put your driving license instead of your passport, right? Think of the situation where you upload the passport and immediately say, hey, dude, this is not your passport. It already sees it, validates it, and says, this is not what you're talking about, what I want, right? Go and change it, right? So let me go to the last one, data extraction and creation. Think of why personal assistant or a chat bot is useful. People don't like to fill forms, right? I know what I want to do. I want to take off tomorrow. Don't ask me what is your name, second name, email ID, phone number, from day to day, number of days, reason, any other backup. You know it all. All I want to say is I'm not coming tomorrow. Believe it or not, even today we have at least 10 projects running where we are automating large forms, right? Really large forms. And large forms cascaded into 4 sheets, right? Okay, and think about it. No human being knows what to fill into the 1,000 fields. Where does he get it from? He refers somewhere. He looks at some documents and fills it. He looks up a paper form. The human being doesn't know the answers to the 1,000 fields, right? Imagine a day when you say, hey, this is the form, here are my input, go fill it up, right? Imagine the amount of days that we've released from human labor and data entry. And of course, this is both because you're extracting the data using OCRs and other techniques, and then filling in the form as well, and couple it with a chatbot kind of feature, right? Where you say that, don't ask me my question, I'll tell you what I want to do, and then you go and fill it up. This is a pain for everybody, isn't it? Yeah. Recruitment, ATS, right? Upload the resume all the time. Employee engagement. Okay, this is another interesting discussion that we've been having. So we were talking about a way where you can predict an employee satisfaction in a company like Accion, right? So what we're talking about is take a few scenarios. Attendance, time to come to office, the Jira tickets, a performance in the daily stand-up, in the retrospective, story grooming, attending the various events, the Holi festival and things like that, right? If you just put all these things together and the participation of an employee, you can figure out he's checked out or is in the system. Is he a performer or a non-performer? Was he a performer and now his performance has come down or not? Right? So that's the trend that we are working on. And again, what I would want to emphasize is I'm not talking about things that I Googled and came here. Right? So that's not what I'm doing. I'm talking about things that we're trying to do in our systems, in our day-to-day work. Okay? So this employee engagement and retention is a very, very interesting idea. So this is probably the last section. Life of an executive, right? We're all executives here. What do we do, right? Where does the time go, right? Where are we getting sucked up? We check emails. My WhatsApp status used to be checking emails all the time. Right? And I get 50 emails every 2 hours. Right? People just love to copy me for everything. And what happens is, in the race to catch up with emails, you miss out something. And day before yesterday, Kinesh got an escalation that I asked Ramesh for something he hasn't given me. So it's because you're just flooded with emails, right? So what can you do with emails? Right? So think of a case where you can prioritize your emails. Again, put in some sentiment analysis. There's a customer email in which you marked as 2, but the customer's tone is slightly elevated, or there's an action item from you that he's looking at. That kind of pops up than the morning birthday email, right? So you move all the birthday emails down, but can you not do it with Google? Putting filters and things like that? Yeah, but not completely. Can you do the tonal sequence? Okay, go, right? Can you get that stuff inside? Can you figure out if the customer is asking for something, requesting for information, nobody is there in the CC, then that needs your personal attention. Right? If there are 3 people in the CC, that's fine. And think about a scenario. So Kinesh has a customer, for example, a customer, and one of the developers gets an email saying that, hey, I think we are running tight on our deadlines. I don't think we'll be able to make it. Right? And he thinks, oh, no, I'll do it. I'll work tonight and finish it. But this never trickles up. And suddenly you get an escalation call saying, oh, I told this guy, but he said he would do, but never came up. Right? Imagine a day in which all these things can trickle up and say the boss gets an email which says, these are the 20 action items, potential red, amber, green. This is red, this is amber, this is green. Notifications and approvals. How many times do we sit together and keep approving hundreds and hundreds of approvals? Right? Think about it. Someone took leave last February 20th to 28th. Can I say anything that I don't approve? Can I say, no, it's not approved? He's already gone, right? Right? But it still lingers in your notification list. And also things like, it could be that in an email you've said, okay, go for this customer lunch, 5,000 is your budget, right? So it's already there, and it's within 5,000 that he's put an expense approval, should automatically approve, or intimate you it's not a important approval for you because you've already approved it. Right? So there's a lot of intelligence that could come in trivial systems. That's what I'm trying to emphasize here. Again, appointments and meetings, right? So meetings, the scheduled calendar appointments and meetings are there, but a lot of times there are important meetings that are over the phone, over email. Okay, let me catch you for coffee at 3 o'clock. And that is always missed, if you remember. Employee engagement, we spoke about it. Customer engagement, we spoke about it. Finance is forecasting. What am I going to get this month? Which customer is going to pay today? Which customer is going to pay tomorrow? Things like that. There's a lot of things that you could do with prediction. And AI ML is today, right? It's not in the distant future. Kinesh always says, if you're not thinking AI ML, you're already late. Right? It's not like the mobility of one period of time. Everybody builds apps that are mobile friendly. Everybody opens their apps in mobile. AI ML is one like that. It's so important and definitely going to drive your business. That's all I have.
Accion Lab Innovation Summit 2019.